I'm gonna be honest, this training is absolutely brutal, but it will rebuild your weak links. It's called Pulse Training, and it allows me and all of our students here at Pacific Rim Athletics to maintain a robust level of high performance strength and skill as a byproduct because it builds the areas that are usually injured in most people. It's a sneaky little methodology that I think a lot of people don't even know about, and I'm gonna show you 3 secrets for how we use it every day. Often we have setbacks, injuries that seem to not go away, pain that arises that tries to swallow up a progress, making people say they're too old or leaving people feeling like they've taken 2 decades backwards instead of 2 steps forward. Sometimes it's the wrist. Can't lift yourself off the ground without pain. Can't do an advanced move without guarding because of that pain. Sometimes it's the lower back. Maybe it's your knees or ankles. But Pulse Training resolves these issues, especially if you make it a staple and not a side dish. First secret. Ready? Fair warning, it's gonna be brutal, but this first move will rebuild your lower core, hip flexors, and hip joints, which is atrophied in most people. It's simple, just sitting on the floor with your legs out in front of you, knees locked, hands next to your knees. Then we lift the legs off the ground as much as possible, and then we do pulses from there for high volume, usually the 50 rep range. Just don't mistake videos for instruction. Get objective eyes so you don't get frustrated, stuck, and injured. Believe me, we've seen it all. It's funny because people think that they're strong simply because they can deadlift a lot or bench press a lot. I was there too, but it's just not true. Now, I'm not taking anything away from that hard work, and I've also had my time in the weight room, but we're only as strong as our weakest links. Sometimes the weakest link is the cardio. Other times it's literally joint weakness you don't even realize is there. In this case, it's the iliacus, psoas, rectus femoris, and lower core. It's compounded by lack of hamstring flexibility and poor lower back mobility, which result in back pain and even injuries. It's like, what good is a huge bench press if a person is blowing out their lower back? What good is running a Spartan if a person is blowing out their hamstrings? What good is grappling 5 rounds if they can't kick without pulling something? Yet this simple little seated pulse can correct a lot of issues and even progress to much further levels of strength most don't realize are possible. For example, the V-stand, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, since you could take that V-stand and put it into movement and transitions inside of dyna combos and katas, where even more weak links are exposed. But it takes humility and patience to bring it to fruition, fruits of the spirit to make it come alive. And this strength carries over to other movement too. When I was a kid and I was just beginning my martial arts training in early competitive years, I would walk around the house turning on the light switches and opening up the cupboard doors with my feet to make my kicks high, fast, powerful, and accurate. The prime mover muscles generate a lot of power for a kick through your core, your quads, your glutes, even your calves on pivoting. But power and accuracy decline and injury increases when the weak links are not prepared. But if you train this way, then byproducts like flares and Stalder press handstands and just overall good health and longevity become possible for you. Especially if you train this way with a very important key element, positivity. You'll go way further into the push, into the pain, and into your progress if you maintain a high level of positivity. Not critiquing yourself and others, but focused on your goals, smiling with your community, and doing the hard work that's necessary to overcome the weak links. Before Scott started training this way, he had a serious list of injuries like this: abdominal tear, abdominal hernia, basic core activation caused burning pain. This led to a lumbar disc herniation and constant back pain. Now look at him. See those abs? See that movement? Pain-free. Our coaches are pumped. Second secret, an example for upper body. Again, it's going to be very difficult. Think about a weak link this way. It's like a person who can do a huge bench press, but if they try to do a planche, V-stand, or Stalder, their wrists give out. That transfers over to a punch as well, or any other athletic movement. If the wrist gives out first, it literally doesn't matter how much the bench press is. A really easy example to understand the power of pulse training is this one. Make a fist. All right, pull it back. Now, without allowing your wrist angle to change, extend your fingers. Pretty difficult, right? Now do it for 50 reps. What this is doing is pumping the muscle full of blood, and then this flows into all of your connective tissue. People forget that connective tissue is part of strength and the first to go in a weak link. So no matter how bulky a person is or how much they're able to lift, they'll be permanently limited by their wrists or their tight shoulders or their elbows or whatever else. Let's focus on elbows for a second. Lots of people get stuck and not able to do pull-ups or muscle-ups. muscle-ups. Some people even think muscle-ups are dangerous, which is totally wrong. Any way your body can move, it is designed to move and should move that way. Muscle-ups are just a basic pulling strength maneuver and entry level for ninja strength powerbatics. I had a torn bicep from a silly injury, and post-surgery muscle-ups were one of the first goals to reacquire. Doctors said usually 18 months for recovery. I progressed to muscle-ups in 4 months. Technically, it was really just 1 month of muscle-up work to regain them. The first 3 months I had a completely immobilized arm, which atrophied to the size of a twig. So did my entire right side, my traps, my lats, everything. But within 1 month, I regained muscle-ups. It's not that it didn't hurt, it was very painful, but I regained the strength to do them by doing what I'm sharing in this video. I remember one workout a long time ago I used to do was 5 rounds of 60-second chin hangs. Huge amounts of sustained pressure on the elbows. One strategy I used to regain muscle-ups was to hold a high chin hang on rings, pulsing mini pull-ups, just pumping blood through everything at high volume. And then muscle-ups became just an ordinary basic move again for me. But you have to be a doer and not a dabbler. You have to realize that your trials and your tears will make you stronger. Learn from your mistakes. Do the hard work that's necessary. And revel in the wins and victories. Third secret. This one will be one nobody wants to do. It isn't easy, and it's super easy to cheat. Skydiver extensions expose more weak links in your hips. Most people don't even realize how many weak links they actually have, and this is just one more of dozens. Even athletes and people training CrossFit or working out 2+ hours a day, they have so many weak links combined with trying so many different programs and videos that they end up looking like Frankenfitness, all hodgepodge together. However, let's just look at this one silly little move, the Skydiver extensions that expose weakness in the posterior chain. Then we can pop up on one elbow and it becomes the crab. Needless to say that the crab will expose the wrist weakness and shoulder immobility and so on. But once you've gained this position, then you can even put rotation on it and turn it into windmills. And then from there, we can insert windmills into dyna combos, which means 3 to 5 skills back to back, or into full katas, which are usually 10+ move routines in powerbatics. So for example, you might do a Skydiver extension into a straddle back lever and a kata from ninja strength element of powerbatics, or windmills inside the power moves element. Now, how do you start? How do you truly begin implementing all of this to actually make progress? Obviously subscribe, but it's totally free to opt in and connect with me and my team, get more info, free videos, student success stories, email trainings, and even information about events, competitions for huge cash prizes, and travel events like the ones coming up in Spain in just a few weeks. But more importantly, really take your training to the next level, safely, step by step, without getting stuck. And you can schedule a complimentary coaching call. It's absolutely free, but you do need to qualify. The reason we do this is because I saw the restriction in physical therapy on the one end, where they weren't allowed to build a person back to full athleticism, and at the opposite end, where usually coaching and bodyweight type athleticism is reserved for children, where they wear them out. And then training adults is just a whole different ballgame. And if you do want to train with us, you'll be able to dive in literally in the next 24 to 48 hours and be working with me and my team of doctorate physical therapists, coaches, and you'll make more progress in 2 months than in 2 years trying to do it yourself. You really will. And it starts with rebuilding your weak links using methods like pulse training. And if you add things like this to your training, I guarantee you, you're gonna see huge strength gains, incredible skills gains, and sustainability developed in actually a very short period of time. See you in the next video and in training soon.